Shall we talk about new cards?
I like those. Let's do that.
All right, let's do it. So, as we've been doing for a little over a year now, in regards to the reveal of new cards, we are not going to talk about every single card that has been revealed since the previous episode, because let's see, pulling up a calendar, we should have all the damn cards revealed by next episode. So it's just unrealistic. Needless to say, we still have a lot of cards to address today, and I don't see any better way to get started with this than celebrating the return of Kazakus, but this time Kazakus the Golem Shaper, and also this time not being a Highlander card, going more the Prince, like the Keleseth route. Because Kazakus the Golem Shaper is a 4-mana 3/3 neutral legendary with a battle cry that reads, if your deck has no 4-cost cards, build a custom golem.
Pop quiz. What are the names of the other 2 Hearthstone princes?
I forget, and I should know this because they were also a raid boss I murdered a billion times in Wrath of the Lich King.
Yes. 3 mana was Tal'Daram, and this card does not have the Keleseth effect, it has the Valinar effect. Just as splashy. I'm sure we all remember Valinar. It was a 4 mana 4/4. If your deck had no other 4 mana cards, you gained Lifesteal and Taunt, which is underwhelming.
Yes. I definitely only mentioned Keleseth because I thought it would register with the most listeners right now, and not because I don't remember the other 2 princes at all.
Yes. First of all, Highlander, I think we can take a break for a minute. I think we can chill on Highlander for a minute. I'm glad that new Kazakus, not a Highlander card, because we've been doing a lot of Highlandering, Zephyrusing for a while now.
So
for a year and a half?
We haven't seen all of the cards, but it hadn't even crossed my mind that we might be potentially heading into a standard year without any Highlander even possible. Well, technically nothing's stopping you, right, from just building a one-up deck.
You can if you really want to.
But if there's not an incentive, if there's not an upside to do so, it just hadn't really struck me as possible, because we've had Highlander around so long that to me it just seems like it is an archetype in Hearthstone that we're always going to deal with. But it might happen. We still haven't talked about, by the way, what the hell building a golem means. But there's a 1/1 golem, there's a 5/5 golem, there's a 10/10 golem. But then you're also gonna pick 2 extra effects. All of the effects have not been confirmed, but we know it's gonna be like taunt, battle cry, draw X cards tied to these golems that you're building.
The first Kazakus came out 4.5 years ago, so we should explain what that means. So the original Kazakus was a really, really cool card that was like the prototype for Zephyrus, is what I think of it now, where you built your own potion. So it was a 4-mana card that was in 3. It was a tri-class card, which is another thing that happened back in the day. It's a true neutral now. Don't worry about it. Where you would build a potion that cost either 1 mana, 5 mana, or 10 mana, and you would staple together 2 effects that you would discover. You just smash them together, and you would, like, some of them would deal damage to all minions, some of them would deal damage to face, some of them would freeze things, or res things, or polymorph things, or whatever. And it was really cool because it would adapt to your current situation, but also based on what you saw. So this is a modernized version of that, where instead of Highlander, they do no 4-drops, which I think is an interesting restriction and pretty cool one. And you make minions instead, and then just staple things to them. And Celestalon has clarified on Twitter, first of all, he was asked for the effects, and then he named the names of them and didn't say what any of them did, which is classic Blizzard tease. So thank you, Celestalon, for that. But also, there's going to be kind of like 2 pools how Deathstalker Rexar used to work, a Build-A-Beast, where there's one pool that does static abilities, like your taunts and rushes, and another one that does active abilities, a battle cry of dealing damage or freezing something or drawing a card or whatever. We don't know what they all are yet, but we have some ideas based on the names.
Old Kazakus was archetype defining in ways. You saw a lot of play, and I assume we're gonna see a bit of Golem Shaper Kazakus here now. This is just the type of card that makes me very excited to see. I see the line you're drawing between like both Kazakus's Kazakai. whatever, and Zephyrus. However, that's also it's just like much more controllable design pool for both Kazakuses we've seen now.
And also, we have a whole bunch of really cool new legendaries to talk about.
Yeah, we do. Let's just keep the legendary train rolling. We'll come back to Primordial Protector here in a second. But let's talk about Paladin, because I am still a host on the show, and we will always talk about Paladin as long as I am here.
And because this card is cluckin' cool.
It is cluckin' cool. Cannon Master Smythe? I want to say Smythe. Anyway, 5 mana 4/4 legendary paladin minion, battle cry, transform your secrets into 3/3 soldiers. They transform back when they die. Dude. I guess I should say dudes, potentially.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on how many secrets you have in play, right? Because when I first read this card, I'm like, wait, is this secrets in hand? And I'm like, wait a minute, this is Hearthstone. This has to be secrets in play, right? Has to be. And yeah.
And they have cool tech for this. If you mouse over the dudes, you see what the secrets are, but your opponent does not. So you know what secret it is, but they don't know what it is, because if they knew, it wouldn't be a secret anymore. So you can keep track of like which minion is tied to which thing. If you want your Avenge to pop before your Noble Sack, for example.
That is good design.
Yeah.
That is
so
really good design. What do you like, hover over them?
Yeah, you hover over them, and so the little flag, the buff and the flag, it shows you what the secret is, but your opponent can't see that.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Team 5.
Because just imagine the memory issues with dealing with the order you played the secrets. Like, all right, which one is this? And you're basically rolling the dice to see which one you get back.
I was unaware of this. Should I have watched the reveal trailer, which I'm notoriously bad at not watching?
What do you think? It was a Chad tweet.
Okay.
This entire show is just Chad tweets. We are basically reading Chad's timeline and also his comments in the chat as live tweets. That is the entire content of the show, and I am here for it.
Don't you read my tweets, Garrett? Asks Celeste in the chat room. Some of them, yeah. Celeste, I will. This is not judgmental. You tweet a lot. You tweet a lot. But the design of this card is absolutely rockin'.
Yeah, I really, really cool.
This is like this is what I look at as like a perfect storm card, where I'm obsessed with the design of it, and I also think it's a good card that's going to see play.
Yeah, it depends. So here's the normal boilerplate that every podcast says in March. We don't know the set. We don't know the context of the meta. None of us have played with the cards. We don't know how good anything's going to be. Maybe it gets the support. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe they print new stuff in the future. Blah, blah, blah. This card's cool. The secrets that we have in Standard are better than the ones we've had in the past, but we lose Desperate Measures, and we don't have a ton of secret synergy cards right now. It's going to depend on if we can get secrets in play, if we want to get secrets in play, if they're good enough, and then if we also have the support here. However, as far as cards that are cool as shit, this is number one. It's cool as shit.
I approve that stamp as well. Yeah, I'm getting, in terms of the podcast or the content creator disclaimer about talking about card reveals, I'm getting mad pure Paladin vibes from this. Like when we first saw the first ever little package of pure Paladin cards come out, it was like, will it be good? Who knows? It turned out it really didn't have legs right out the gate, but as more pure cards were added, it became a force that we are still dealing with to this very day. We saw Libram Paladin, the damn Master Store over the weekend. This is the kind of thing that maybe there's enough secret gas to make this go right now, but I think by expansion 2 there definitely will be, because I just don't think you design a card like this without planning to have more secrets coming down the pipeline. Mordresh Fire Eyes, the next card we're going to talk about. This is a 10 mana 10/10 legendary.
No, just one eye. It's only one eye is fire. It's not Fire Eyes.
Oh, yes. Anyway, 10 mana, 10/10 legendary mage minion with a battle cry that reads, if you've dealt 10 damage with your hero power this game, deal 10 damage to all enemies. Which means I think we should also talk about this card in conjunction with Reckless Apprentice, a 4 mana 3/5 rare mage minion that has a battle cry that reads, fire your hero power at all enemies.
All right, I guess this is a thing we're doing now. Now, Fallen Hero is in the core set and is absolutely a mage hero power buffer. But these are the only 2 mage cards we've seen from the expansion so far. I guess we're on to Hero Power Matters. But it's cool. Oh yeah, Koldara Drake, also in the core set. Mage might be doing some hero powery things.
I like this design a lot, and there's a nice mix. Like this compared to like we just talked about Cannon Master Smith apparently, and also apparently Wesson was not a tease. I guess Smith hangs out with Wesson in World of Warcraft. Wesson is not a Hearthstone card. Sluslan clearing up my assumption there. But you look at Cannon Master Smith and you just go, boy, that's really interesting. What a crazy design. I've never really seen anything like it. And then we look at Mordresh here, and we look at Reckless Apprentice, and like this is pretty straightforward while still being interesting. We've seen design like this before, where if you've done X, do Y. But I like the mix that we're seeing of like a lot of the priest stuff too. It's pretty straightforward, which is also nice compared to all of the resurrecting shenanigans we've been dealing with for 2 years.
They can't hurt you anymore. They're gone.
This is just solid design and a powerful effect.
And I've heard people concerned. A lot of people's memories about hero powery stuff is Genin Baku. That's a lot of people remember Genin Baku, and
that is not where my brain goes. No, it goes straight to Inspire.
But Inspire, like, so the thing about both Inspire and Genin Baku is that they both did the same thing every time. They were both fairly snowbally. Genin Baku did the same thing every game right from before you played a card. The most formative turns of every game are 1, 2, and 3, and they were defined by pressing the same button every time. Whereas Inspire, they had to power down the cards because when they were good, you hit the button and thing happened. But Reckless Apprentice, it does your hero power one time, and you can build it up with minions that we've seen, Fallen Hero in particular. You can make your hero power better, but your opponent gets to interact with your hero power the way that you do. If they kill the Fallen Hero, then your hero power doesn't get better. You can hold it in hand and wait longer. That's dynamic and interesting gameplay that's different every game. When I play my hero power stuff, how it affects my hero power, how it affects your board, how you interact with it, that changes from game to game, as opposed to Baku triggering at the beginning of the game, and then every turn 2 is the same for the entire year, the entire standard year. So I love that they found a way to make hero powers relevant and interesting and different and dynamic inside the game. The amount of damage a mage hero power deals is now going to change from turn to turn, and that's pretty cool.
Joss isn't here, and so we can talk about Demon Hunter.
All right.
Let's talk about, I'm going to mess up so many pronunciations today, Kurtrus Ashfallen, a 4-mana 3/4 legendary Demon Hunter minion with a battle cry that reads, attack the left and rightmost enemies, outcast, immune this turn.
It's cool and weird.
It is
also
cool.
This is Kurt. We're calling him Kurt.
Kurt. Oh, you're going to call him Kurt. Okay.
Yeah.
Russell?
I'm not going to say all those syllables.
Oh, Kurt Russ. Oh,
Kurt Russ?
It's Kurt Russell. Oh,
yeah.
My brain. Yeah, this card is cool. It's a little weird. Is it weird? I don't think it's weird because it's Demon Hunter. So to me, I just go and it's like, well, this is consistent with Demon Hunter kind of feeling like they're cheating. Like I'm not doing a bit. Like they do kind of feel like they cheat. Like Outcast kind of feels like you're getting away with something, and also just the way some of the cards control the board feels like it kind of goes against our understanding of how Hearthstone is supposed to work, right? So to me, I'm just like, yeah, this seems really on brand for a Demon Hunter design.
I guess so. Like Demon Hunter cards, they hit things. Like you play them and they're like, I'm angry, vengeance, hit, whatever. But if you put your thumb, if you mentally replace the green with red, and you call this card a Restless Mummy, it's about the same. It's roughly about the same. Can you hear that siren in the background?
I definitely can. Yeah, they're coming for this Demon Hunter card. They're very concerned about it. But okay, that's a good point. But 4 mana though, like this doesn't ask much of me, and it has such an upside for Outcasted. I don't think it's overly powerful by any means, but it is definitely, I think, worth its legendary status.
It's a cool card. I'm glad we don't have to play against 2 of them, but also as a standalone threat, if I'm playing against your Res Priest deck, and I play this card, you're like, nice 4-drop that deals 3 damage to me, I'm just not even going to spend a removal spell on it. It's good if you're trying to control specific boards of small minions spread out evenly from left to right. Your opponent can also decide to put big things on the ends, and maybe there's other positioning matters cards. But it's cool. It's interesting. When you Outcast, it's a reasonable removal spell. Otherwise, it is a multi-shot. And multi-shot is not a card we were playing a ton of.
That's a good point. But again, it leaves a body behind, and Demon Hunters have plenty of other ways of dealing board-wide damage. And so this, even if you are beefing up your outer edges, you could soften it up with this and then actually combo it. And again, leaving a body behind is worth something again on Outcast. But
it's a funky card. I think it's hard to evaluate, and it's going to depend a lot on the texture of the format as well.
I mean, I
want to try it out.
I think, I mean, we've both been doing this a while, Hat. I don't think it's ever been harder to evaluate what the hell the game is going to look like.
Can we take a minute to talk about the other Demon Hunter card here? Because I think every single person that I've shown this card to is like, so that's a Hunter card, right? No, it's a Demon Hunter card. Look at that card. Razorfen Beastmaster.
Oh, wait. You're right. Yeah. Just
you thought that was a Hunter card, didn't you?
No, yeah. I did not. It didn't really strike me because I've trained myself to look for the tribal tattoos on card frames. But yeah, it sure does look like one, doesn't it?
3 mana, 3/3, Death Rattle, summon a Death Rattle minion that costs 4 or less from your hand. Since when does Demon Hunter do Death Rattles? That's a new thing.
Since now, Hat.
Since now. It's so they're clearly trying new stuff. We're clearly going to get to redefine and figure out what's new this year and what's new with each class. And Demon Hunter in particular, their original identity was draw cards, deal damage. And while that's very clear, those are also the best things to do in a card game. So maybe they can do some other stuff. I'm down with that. They can do other things other than drawing cards and dealing damage. So like, I'm cool. I'm all about seeing what the Death Rattle thing is about. But we can't rely on preconceived notions of Demon Hunter because I don't think it's going to stay the same.
I mean, what is it though? I mean, we've been talking about for the year now that Demon Hunter doesn't really like have an identity other than it is good. Like they kind of do a little bit of everything and they do it fairly well. So.
Yeah, we're losing a lot of the really good damage cards. We're losing a lot of the cheap disruption cards. I think we're going to continue to see the focus on like weaponry and attacking, but one of the really cool new cards that got revealed that I think we'll talk about in a bit is a Demon Hunter card, and that might give us some direction too.
Well, let's jump around a little bit and continue talking about legendaries while we're on the subject of legendaries, and let's talk about is it Barak or Barak Kodobane?
It's Kodobama.
Barak Kodobama. Oh, okay.
Yes.
I like that. I like that.
So that way, when we play it and he draws us the lock and load and the cards that we need, we say, thanks, Kodobama.
Whatever we end up saying, Kodobane is a 5-mana 3/5 legendary hunter minion with a battle cry that reads, draw a 1, 2, and 3 cost spell. Yes, please.
Remember how we were told instead of generation, there's going to be card draw? Exhibit A. Right here. Because we're not generating these spells, we're not discovering these spells, we're just yanking them out of the deck and drawing 3 cards.
Yep. This is not generation. This is draw and targeted draw, quite targeted draw. It's targeted mana cost and targeted card type, and that it's a 1, 2, and 3 cost spell. So I love tutor effects. I always have. I get really excited about them. This just seems like a very good one attached to a decent body for the mana cost.
I like cards that draw 3 cards, and the body is fine. And I don't know if we're going to be looking for specific spells. If we're going to get our lock and loads, we're getting a specific secret, or if we're just grabbing a tracking and just having more stuff to do. If we're grabbing tracking and quick shot and deadly shot or something. I don't know. It draws cards in Hunter. Awesome. Let's do that.
So now I want to backtrack a bit to talk about Primordial Protector because it's more targeted draw. So Primordial Protector is an 8-mana 6/6 epic neutral elemental with a battle cry that reads, draw your highest cost spell, summon a random minion with the same cost. I'm so glad.
Is that you? Is that you, Spiteful Summoner?
A little bit, yeah. I'm so glad that Mordresh isn't a spell in Mage.
Yes. I'm spending right now, I just look at this card. Every time I look at this card, I just sit there and think of deck list ideas. And I think that's kind of what you want a card to do, especially this early in the reveal season. If you show it and looking at this card, you see the universe of decks that it enables behind it. That's really cool. And it can create some consistency, maybe too much, but you have to find this or a really high cost spell and survive that much. And Hearthstone is a better game when you have some consistency to do your cool thing every game, but not when it's the only thing that you do all the time.
Right. And they've learned a lot of lessons, right? We've kind of seen the the Team 5 war on over inclusion for years now. Like going back to first one I can think of is Azure Drake, where it was in too many decks and they came for Azure Drake and it worked. So this is the one where it's like, I don't think this is definitely not worth it in every deck, but I think it's going to be worth it in enough. All right, let's talk about some cards that I just think have cool designs. Sigil of Flame, a Demon Hunter card we haven't talked about yet. It's a 2-mana epic Demon Hunter Fell spell. At the start of your next turn, deal 3 damage to all minions. So
this is new text. This is a new thing that we're doing in Hearthstone. And apparently, per the usual source, a Chad tweet, this uses the secret space, but is not a secret. Both players can hover over it and see it, because demon hunters are very blunt. They don't have secrets. They tell you what they're going to do.
Yeah. There's going to be some sort of UI element where we're used to looking for secrets that will denote that this is gonna happen next turn. I mean, the design of it is very secret-esque, right? It's just not a secret.
Well, we associate this effect with secret, but it's like you can also look at, say, a corruption or corrupting mist, that sort of thing, or a doomsayer, and it's got that same kind of vibe as well. Or also like the side quest like Sanctuary. And this is just a side quest with no condition other than wait a minute. And so I like that you know when it's going to happen. I like that the opponent can play around it at times. It's almost like dormant. It's like Imprisoned Observer.
Yeah.
So it just happens right away.
Yeah. It's like everything you just mentioned. Doomsayer, Dormant, Secrets. There's a little bit of all of that here, which I just always makes my card design brain nerd out, because I love looking at something and like seeing the heritage of where the card design came from. And there's just a lot on display here. And I'm with you. Like, I like the puzzle that this sets up for your opponent to have to play around, right? Because of the delay, you know when it's going off, you have time to attempt to act accordingly. And depending on what type of scenario your board is currently in, you might be able to make it so that the Demon Hunter doesn't get value out of this. All right, let's talk about Horde Operative, another card that I think is just a really, really cool design. 3-mana, 3/4, rare neutral minion. Battle Cry, copy your opponent's secrets and put them into play. If only this worked on like the 3/3 dudes that I make as a paladin from my secrets. That'd be interesting.
That would be a rules nightmare, but also interesting.
That would be interesting. But yeah, I would assume that's not the case, but it'd be cool if they were like technically still secrets.
So is this better than destroying the secrets? I have no idea. You know what they are, and you also get them.
I think it's my gut, without thinking on it too hard, is that yes, it is better than destroying them. You're gaining value rather than just removing it from your opponent.
But they still keep their value. I don't know. My gut is, 1, this card is cool. And 2, if they're printing a neutral mass secret hoser, I expect there are going to be some significant secret synergies that they are expecting in Standard. Because Secret Mage lost a lot of stuff in rotation. It's losing Arcane Black Mage, it's losing Cloud Prince, it's losing Ancient Mysteries, it's losing Flame Ward. But they printed Occult Conjurer recently, and Arcanologist is in the core set. So clearly there's some expectation of secrets being a thing. And this card says, we think secrets should be a thing, but if they're better than we think they are, then play this card.
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it more, it's a major, it depends, I think, scenario on whether this is better than destroying them or not. I think I got carried away with just being, I want this to be the way we deal with it because of just how interesting that makes the board state. You're just in the secret stalemate of whatever, say I'm the opponent, I'm staring down a Christmas tree. Well, once I play this, my opponent now has to make the exact same considerations I'm making, with slight variation based on what's on board already, right?
There will be a Trollden video where someone horde operatives an entire Hanar Christmas tree, and then some wacky stuff happens. Ooh. That's going to be a thing, because Hanar games are already goofy, and now it's like the double Hanar. And the title of that clip will be, Hanar, You Serious? All right, we figured it out.
There's gonna be a lot of competing potential episode titles with you being on the show for the next few weeks.
I'm looking forward to that challenge, but this episode is set. That was figured out already.
Okay.
Don't touch the
Are
business
you
end of that
serious
chicken.
though?
All right, it was good, but don't touch the business end of the chicken.
I'm just asking, Hanar, you serious?
I was. And I am. I will be again.
All right. You want to talk about Light Shower Elemental, a new priest minion that was revealed. 6 mana, 6/6, rare priest elemental with taunt and death rattle. Restore 8 health to all friendly characters.
First of all, this card good. I just want to play it in priest decks if we're doing minions. To the point where I think if they are designing priest in the girthy defensive minion, if that's the approach they're taking, I think priest just got a lot more interesting. Because this could have been a paladin card in another world. You could have made this card a paladin card 2 years ago, and it would have made sense.
I think there's an argument you could probably still make it a paladin card.
You could probably do it now, and we would be like, okay, that's cool.
And then we got some cards announced like right before we went live today. I really, really want to talk about Yoink for Rogue. So Yoink is a 1 mana epic rogue spell that reads discover a hero power and set its cost to 0. Swap back after 2 uses.
Flavor text is very important. The flavor text is saying the spell's name makes it work better. And first, that's obviously true. Second of all, when this was revealed, I just went into every Discord and the conversation was the same. It was just yoink, and someone else was like yoink, and then you can talk about the card. You got to get it out of your system first. But definitely they did it. They made a card named Yoink. I'm very excited. Now, I don't believe you can discover the rogue hero power as the rogue, but I'm not 100% sure on that. And actually, no, the related cards are actually listed directly to the right of the card. There are 10 hero powers. So I guess you can discover rogue itself?
Yeah. Why not? Right?
It doesn't say another. Yeah, I guess you could. So think about on turn 1, if you discovered Life Tap, that's 1 mana, draw 2 cards.
We're getting a very interesting clarification in the chat room. So Celestine is saying you can if your current hero power is not rogue.
Okay.
So
it's a different hero power than the one you currently have.
Yeah, hidden text then. So discover a different hero power and set its cost to 0.
If you discover Life Tap, I think that's probably the best one on turn 1 most of the time. But like you could summon 2 totems, including a new strength totem. This could be like a Lost in the Jungle where you summon 2 1/1s. You could end up healing 4 later in the game or armoring up for 4. There are a lot of decent proactive hero powers. A lot of reasonable defensive ones. You don't really want to play it on turn 1 and then sit on it if you need the dagger to be active. But a lot of these cards are for 1 mana instead of the 4 mana that you would pay for 2 hero power activations. That's pretty cool. And if you play this in turn 1 and immediately jam the button, then next turn jam the button, you can dagger up after that. So you can go turn 1, play this Life Tap, next turn Life Tap dagger. Pretty good start. It's not so bad.
Yeah. And again, it's discover, right? So you're not going to be stuck with like healing on 1.
Yeah, you will always have the opportunity to do something relevant because you will always have choices beyond priest.
And then we have fan translated reveals. We want to talk about some of these real quick.
So these cards. So there's a Korean video that's supposed to come out tomorrow. That is supposed to be excellent. The cards were leaked early, but it's hard to not talk about these because these are cool.
Let's start with legendaries, which is what we've been doing today. What has been fan translated to Tamsin Rome, 3 mana 1/3 legendary warlock minion. Whenever you cast a shadow spell that costs 1 or more, add a copy of it to your hand. It costs 0.
Spooky.
Yeah, this is a scary card. We haven't seen a ton of spell school synergy. This is a big one.
This is a cool card, and I am curious to see what we end up using it for. It reminds me a bit of Zentimo, except with more flexibility. And if the shadow cards are good, then we'll end up playing this for value. But it's only this turn, and you have to generally assume you're playing this next to the shadow spell that you want, and then this is going to die. So is it worth 3 mana to twin spell a single shadow spell, or is there some way to keep this alive?
We did get 2 other shadow spells revealed, and one of them is only 1 mana, Grimoire of Sacrifice, common warlock shadow spell. Destroy a friendly minion to deal 2 damage to all enemy minions. It's not the most exciting thing in the world to combo with the legendary we just talked about.
Nope, but it's really nice with Nerubian Egg, which they did reprint.
Yes. And then also Soul Rend, 4 mana, rare Warlock Shadow spell. Deal 5 damage to all minions. Destroy a card in your deck for each killed. Definitely don't think I want to be comboing this with the 3 mana legendary on, not just because that's then 7 mana I need to account for, but also a lot of potential dead cards in my deck. Well, another Paladin legendary was leaked. Again, take all the names we're talking about today with a grain of salt, but Cariel Rome, 4 mana, 4/3 legendary Paladin minion with Rush, Divine Shield, and reads, whenever this attacks, reduce the cost of holy spells in your hand by 1. So again, more spell school synergy here. This is just a good card. Like, it's 4 mana, 4 damage removal that leaves a 4/3 behind, and if you get 1 tick of spell reduction off of this, that's great. And while we're talking about holy spells, Invigorating Sermon was another leaked card for Paladin. 4 mana, common holy spell. Give +1/+1 to all minions in your hand, deck, and battlefield. Now, Cariel could potentially discount this.
And this is very, very small survival of the fittest, but it also gets cost reduced. And in the past, when we've had cards like this outside of survival of the fittest, they haven't hit all 3 of these zones at once. It's either hit your hand or your deck or in play. It's a Paladin card that hits all 3, and hitting in play is a really big deal, because in the past, playing cards like this would just be a huge tempo loss. You would play it and then you would die because you weren't playing minions. But this gives you both an immediate advantage and a future advantage. Now, it doesn't impact future minion generating abilities or spells like your hero power or like any Day at the Fair. It generates 1/1s. They stay 1/1. They don't get buffed. It's not an aura. If you can play this and you have a mild board presence, you get a boost now and you get a boost later. Seems all right, especially if you reduce the cost.
Yeah, I like this card a lot for all the reasons that you mentioned. I really like buffing, and for like the longest time in Hearthstone, buffing was really, really risky, especially this type of like wide buffs. Like it didn't pan out in a lot of the classes, and it's no surprise if you listen to this show for the past year that I've been really pleased with Libram and with Pure Paladin and how that buff archetype has worked out.
I like that they are finding ways for buffing to be something that doesn't just cost you time and cards and value and life.
Not sure what you just said, but I'm sure it was very insightful.
Yes, I thought so. Yeah. I'm checking the show notes. You thought it was very smart and you agreed with it.
Oh, great. Yeah, I do write down these things ahead of time, especially when I have no way of knowing what you're actually thinking or saying. So,
yep.
Yeah. So are you ready to react to a bonus card for this episode in real time?
I'm ready.
It's the first time we're seeing this. So, new card is called No Fin Can Stop Us.
This is wonderful.
3 mana, rare, shaman spell. Give your minions +1/+1. Give your Murlocs an extra +1/+1. Murloc Shaman ain't going nowhere.
And it's also just like a global minion buff too if you want, but the Murloc buffs. I don't know. This looks. We haven't thought about Murloc Shaman in a while, and Underbelly Angler, I believe, is rotating. But I want to play a bunch of Murlocs and slam this card, and then hit people in the face. That's what I want to do. Like 3 mana, give all your Murlocs +2/+2. Like, I'm down. That's a good deal.
I'm very into it because I probably have a board of Murlocs already. If Shaman Murloc isn't going, if Murloc Shaman is going nowhere, it's definitely going no fin.
Nah.
Yeah. See what it did there? Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm leaving the show title the same. I know you tried. But.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for your emails, for your Discord questions. That's going to bring us to the end of this week's episode of The Angry Chicken. Keep writing in, tacpodcast@gmail.com.
You can subscribe to The Angry Chicken on all your favorite podcast apps like Spotify, Google Play, and iTunes. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss another Angry Chicken video.